After this, we're all going to go on YouTube and watch videos of Beat the Chimp. So, let's talk about the World Cup.
I will just say this then, before we do. I saw this monkey with a tin opener. I said, you don't need a tin opener to peel a banana. He said, I know, this is for the custard. There we are, just the monkey joke.
And I want to say, I think it's very sad that Bart, he used to play in golf for America, and now look at him, he's got a British passport, the guy's a total traitor.
Doesn't have anything to do with love in America. It should be the best World Cup ever. Sitting there in your seat and having a 2-liter of Pepsi.
Yeah, just as much food as I can physically get in me. Watching a load of athletes while I eat a foot-long hot dog.
You are American.
Well played, Brad.
Is that what she said?
You played very well, Brad.
Well, you came down and met
What
us
do you do?
and then changed the change
You
room.
there in the gloves, what do you do?
If we won the World Cup, I would set up football in America for the next 20 to 30 years.
Do you think we'll ever get to a point, Brad, where in America it's called football?
No.
Hello, I'm Matt Forde, and from talkSPORT, this is How to Win the World Cup. Between now and the summer, I'm on a mission to find out what it takes to win the greatest prize on earth. No, not a lifetime supply of chili heatwave Doritos, the World Cup. I am desperate to see England win it, so each week I'm speaking to those who've been there and done it at the highest level. Plus, I'll be joined by a load of comedians to help me stay positive. In today's episode, we're talking all about the host country, America.
Canada, Mexico and USA have been selected by the FIFA Congress to host the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
But I just want to thank Gianni Infantino for being here. He's the president of FIFA.
I'm delighted to say once again we are joined by our very own Captain America, former USA goaltender, Brad Friedel.
I hope for 30 days it's just all about the football.
And I am honoured to be joined by the pun slinger himself, the hilarious Tim Vine. Tim, welcome.
What an absolute thrill it is at last to be on a show with you, Matt. This has been, we should have done this ages ago, shouldn't we?
We should have done, but the 2026 World Cup was only going to happen this year.
This is the moment to do it.
It is. I am wearing my Euro 96 Stuart Pearce replica shirt.
Yes, and I'm wearing my 1966 casual jumper.
It's got 66 vibes.
It's got a slight 66 vibe, but I'm sorry. Do you know when people say, do you want to do a podcast? I always think to myself, I'm still thinking to myself, oh, it's audio. I would have had a shave and everything, viewers. I apologise.
You look great, for one.
Right.
You've got a collar on.
Yes, I have.
So that always makes you look a bit more formal.
Yeah.
You're
Although it's the same colour as the background. I probably look like a floating head on a jumper.
You do a little bit, but that's funny.
Is it?
And you are a comedian.
Well, I was playing football on an aeroplane. It's amazing. I was running up the wing.
Do you still play football? You used to play comedians football every Tuesday.
Yeah, no, I don't. No, actually the last thing that happened to me that stopped me doing it was I did my knee in.
ACL?
But it was, no, I think I was playing up front. But I did something happened. But the thing that freaked me out was it wasn't in a tackle or anything like that. I think if someone had tackled me and I knew what had caused it, but it wasn't that. I was just trying to drag the ball back, and I went like that, and there was a sort of click noise. Fortunately, I hadn't ripped anything, but then all these comics gather around. I was lying on the ground, and I felt the pressure to continue being
funny,
humorous. Yes,
I remember because I played a few times. I stopped playing there because the ball hit my ankle and it really hurt.
Exactly.
I can't do this anymore. I'm getting injured in ways that I shouldn't be. A proud man can't get injured that way.
No, I know. I don't know. Maybe I should carry on. People sometimes say, well, "Why don't you do that walking football?" I can't bear the thought of. That's the moment you give up on it, isn't it?
Is it?
Yes.
America.
Oh, I love
the
it.
host nation. Yeah. Have you ever been to America?
I have actually, yeah. Well, a number of times. We went on a family holiday to the East Coast and sort of looked around lots of things in 1984. And in 1998, I did a game show, a pilot for a game show, it never got made, called Beat the Chimp. Where one of the
God, that sounds violent.
No, well, it wasn't. But one of the contestants was a chimp.
An actual chimp or dressed as a chimp?
No, genuinely a chimp. And the idea was based on a game show that I've done over here called Fluke, where I'm asking questions and no one knows what the answers are. So they thought, well, you could involve a monkey because every question's 50-50. It wouldn't matter. So you'd ask a question and the monkey had a piece of paper and on one side was the right answer and another side was the wrong answer. And they'd sort of wave and he'd sort of pick it up like that and he'd either be right or wrong, you know. And his name was Tonka the monkey. And I always remember because the scripts, on the top of the scripts, it said, please don't make eye contact with Tonka, because he used to get really aggressive. So he'd be carried into a room by his trainer, and the trainer used to hold him like that, and his head would be sort of facing backwards, and you'd all look at him like that. And as the trainer went by, everyone would go like that because the Tonka would be looking round to see you. Do you want to fight? Because they don't like eye contact, chimps.
And this was, hang on, how many episodes were made?
None. I mean, we made one pilot. In fact, one pilot was...
It sounds amazing.
Well...
It's such a good idea. I mean, the RSPCA would... And the, you know...
Well, no, it was...
Peter would probably...
No, I think it was OK on that front. In actual fact, they superimposed the contestants were in a bit like a desk like this. And you'd have real contestant, real contestant, real contestant, and then on the end would be Tonka. But Tonka wasn't actually in the room with the others. He was in another room.
OK.
This was a bit... But he must have wondered what on earth was going on, this poor monkey. Because he was just in a room like this, on his own, with these answers in front of him. And every now and again, the trainer would say, pick that up. And he'd sort of go like that. And if he got it right, I always remember he had these big ears, Tonka. And he used to go like that. And his ears would flap. That was great. But that's the question about where I've been to America. That was really good fun.
Because I was going to ask if you ever gigged in America, but...
Well, I did a couple of gigs there as well. But the problem with doing gigs in America, I found, from my point of view, was I think if I'd lived there for a few months, I could gauge what the humour was. But just going there for over a weekend, I went to the Comedy Store in America, and it was like there was like 10 acts all doing about 5 or 10 minutes, maybe not as many as 10, but each one went on the same way. They say, hey, I'm from West Hollywood, and this is what it's like there, you know. Hey, I'm from South Central, and da-da-da-da. I went on sounding like this and never said where I was from. I just went, good evening. So I went to the butcher's, and, you know, it was like, they were like, well, you know, tell us about yourself, you know. They weren't used to seeing me, you know, Velcro, what a rip-off. They didn't know what was going on, so it didn't go very well.
We don't call it Velcro, buddy.
Yeah.
It's called rip and strip, or whatever it was. I guess you've got to think about all your...
Well, there's that,
references.
Yeah. Well, I've had that with... I used to do a joke where I'd go on with a sort of big, sort of pink wig, and I'd hold this stick in front of me and say, never eat candy floss on a roller coaster, was the joke, you know, like it floated. Well, when I went to America, it's cotton candy.
Yeah.
And then when I did it in Australia, it's something else again. I mean...
Just never leave England. It's nice here.
People understand
We've got it sussed. Yeah. I don't know if I'm being wound up or not, but I've just been told that there is an HBO documentary about Tonka. Is that true, or is that a wind-up?
I think that may be a wind-up.
It's true. I'm being told it's true.
Is there?
Can we have more details, please?
I know there are clips of Beat the Chimp on YouTube, but I don't want to sort of get your viewers immediately off this channel to go look for it.
After this, we're all going to go on YouTube and watch videos of Beat the Chimp. So let's talk about the World Cup.
I will just say this then, before we do. I saw this monkey with a tin opener. I said, you don't need a tin opener to peel a banana. He said, I know, this is for the custard. There we are. Just the monkey joke to close that section. Right, sorry, yes, go on, Matt.
What's the first World Cup you remember?
1978, I think, really.
Okay.
I think a very vague memory of 1974 and the German player Müller scoring a goal, I think. But basically, 78 was the one where the ticker tape final with Argentina winning it, and the slightly scruffy-looking Argentinian manager with kind of long, dark hair, looked very sullen, and I remember that.
Is that what got you into football?
Well, that. I think the following, what was the next one after that? 82. I remember really caring about that. I remember really, really caring about when we went out. You know, I think we just had to get a draw or something? I remember Keegan, was it that last match, that group game? We just had to get a draw, was it?
I think so. I remember that, well, in retrospect, I was born in 82, so I don't know.
Yeah. But I remember really being annoyed that we didn't get through that bit. And then 86, I loved 86. That was such a great one, that one.
Maradona.
Yeah, I mean, well, that aside, but all the group games and everything in Mexico, I thought it was a really great World Cup, that.
Because I know you've got a soft spot for Sutton, but one of the first things I remember when we met was you're basically an England fan first and foremost.
Yes. Do you know what? I've telling your viewers this. But I used to have these debenture seats, as they call them, at Wembley Stadium. So I'd watch all the England home games, and I brought you along one time to watch a match.
England-France.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah, it was.
But I remember we played dreadfully, and I remember you sitting there going, God, this is, this is crap. If I can use that word. It's just crap, in other words. And I was laughing about it because I thought, only in football can that happen. Imagine if I brought you to a play. I brought you tickets to a play and you sat there going, this is crap.
But I remember having a lovely time.
Yeah, it was
so I hope
great
I wasn't
fun.
disrespectful.
No, not at all. I thought
were
it was, yeah. Well, I was agreeing with you. Yeah.
They were great, those Club Wembley tickets.
They were good, actually, yeah. Yeah, I never really... Once, there was a couple of games which were really, really good, but there were a lot of sort of fairly pedestrian games there. They were mainly friendlies, I think. I think the worst game I think I ever saw was the Scott Carson one. I'm not sure.
Oh, my
I'm not
God.
sure I was at that one.
Oh, my
I don't know,
God.
sorry, to sum it up by saying... In fact, that was Steve McLaren's last game, wasn't it? I think,
Yeah.
Probably, wasn't it? Yeah.
2008.
Yeah.
Croatia at Wembley.
And can I tell you something about... We're jumping into...
Tell me many things. I'm here to learn.
Because I know that you're going to ask me probably about will the heat affect us. I know it's probably coming up as a separate thing.
It is.
But only because I mentioned Steve McLaren. I once did hosted an evening with Steve McLaren, which was up in Stockton via a mate of mine, John Archer, who's a friend of yours as well, magician. And and at the time, Steve McLaren was the manager of Middlesbrough, I think. So John Archer said, look, no one really knows much about football up here. Do you want to host this thing? I said, yeah, great. Anyway, when it came to talking about... And Steve McLaren had done a lot of really interesting things. He was, Ferguson's number 2,
Yeah.
and of course he was Sven's number 2, wasn't he? In 2002. So in that World Cup, the 2002 World Cup, when we played Brazil and got knocked out, that it was fascinating hearing Steve McLaren talk about going into the dressing room at half-time. He said he looked round at the players and he said they were all completely finished.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he looked round.
Physically or emotionally?
Yeah. No, physically, with the heat. He said he looked round and he said he thought to himself, they've got nothing left, And that does explain the second half, because I thought to myself... No, but in that second half, I thought, well, we're always going to get the odd chance. Will we take it? But we didn't. We didn't get any chance in that second half.
It was just too hot.
Yeah.
It's not fair,
too
really.
hot. No.
Not fair.
And I think there's the two things that will do us if we don't win, and it's the heat is one, and the other is the belief at the biggest moments. And that's up to the manager to decide. And I think Southgate, I'm afraid, at that moment had not instilled that sort of belief. Hence... when Kane missed that penalty against France. It's that moment where if we got that, I think we're 2-0 up or something.
He scored another penalty in that game, though.
Did he?
I mean, I know that that was
in the game, did he? Or in the... you sure?
Yeah, I think in the game he did, yeah.
Did he?
Yeah. And it's the second penalty. So he had already done it.
Yeah,
So
okay.
asking him to do it twice against a teammate. They were both playing together for Spurs.
That's right. Oh, of course it's... Yeah. But even so,
I know. I mean, you're
it was
right.
a
If he
pivotal
scores that penalty,
moment.
no question,
We won the
yeah.
game at that point, haven't we? And missing that penalty gave them the confidence to then, I don't know, it's just... hindsight's a marvellous thing, isn't it?
So the last time America hosted the World Cup, USA 94, we weren't there. No. So did you still enjoy it?
I did. I loved it, yeah.
What are your memories of USA 94?
When I was asked about this before, I was told, you might want to look at, what did you think about 1994, And knowing most people in that situation then go on and sort of Google it and remind themselves. Well, I didn't do that. So I just wrote down what I thought had happened in 1994. And in the reception, actually, waiting to come here, I ran it past someone who was sitting next to me for 10 minutes. And it turns out all the things I'd mentioned, bar one, did happen in 1994. And they were the penalty... Well, actually, this is first thing is the Diana Ross missing that penalty in the...
The goal explodes even though she's put it wide.
That's it, yeah. Something else I remember, which is definitely happened, was in the lead-up to the American World Cup, which goes to show really how new football still was in America. They genuinely were suggesting splitting it into 4 quarters. This is what the Americans would say. Can we split the matches into 4 quarters just to get more adverts?
Yeah, when are the T-shirt cannons going to come on?
Yeah. Exactly. But it was Maradona's last World Cup, and I remember that thing of him coming up to the
manic in that blue away kit.
Yeah. The Brazil when they scored and they did the baby thing like that.
Did you like that?
Not particularly, no, but I
didn't
remember it. But I did love Romario, though.
Phenomenal.
Fantastic player. And I always remember because he played for Bobby Robson, I think, at Barcelona, I think. Someone will know that. But Bobby Robson said of him that the thing about Romario, he said he'd be furious with him because he'd do nothing the whole game, and then he'd pop up and score the winner in the last minute, and so Robson would feel like he was unable to give him a rollicking. And that reminds me of the way I used to play football. It was I do nothing for the whole game except for the winning goal at the end. I just do nothing for the whole game.
I remember you being good.
No, I do nothing for the whole game and not pop up with the winner.
Baggio missing the penalty in the final.
That's right. That was the other thing I'd
Bowl.
written down. Yeah, that's the other thing I'd written down. And
Ray
Houghton.
Ray Houghton.
Isn't it funny? I wonder whether
Against Italy.
Yeah, but the fact that I'm saying all these things and you remember these things specifically,
Vivid.
But I wonder whether there's an element of. I mean, yes, I do remember them at the time, but whether it's partly that I've seen some documentary since that's flagged up the things that's happened.
I think these go straight. These things are so vivid.
Certainly the Ray Houghton goal, I remember that at the time being...
So at the time, are you the sort of England fan who, if we're not there, you'll support our closest neighbours? Were you rooting for Ireland?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And
you're an open-minded guy.
Yeah, I am. I like to think I love everyone in the British Isles and nearby.
The French?
And further away.
How far does that sphere go?
I wouldn't say I support the French, no.
No.
But I think I probably support... or I definitely support Wales, Scotland, and England. But England first. But then I would sort of hope the others would do well, as long as it's not at our expense.
Yeah.
And I would hope that Ireland would do well, and Northern Ireland, and and again, as long as it's not at our expense. I'm not stupid. And then after that, I probably just tend to go with the underdogs. If Chile are playing France, I want Chile to win.
So when Greece won the Euros 2004,
yeah. Well, that.
It was the ultimate underdog victory.
I suppose it was really, but there was a big disappointment with us there, wasn't there? Because Rooney was sensational. It was the metatarsal, wasn't it? He was so great in that tournament. That Croatia game when we won 4-2, we thought it was all... Lamps was playing out of his brain as well, wasn't it? It was great.
Well, we're talking about America.
We are.
So we've got a very special guest now. To talk about America, let's join our very own resident American. He played in 3 World Cups for the USA. It's Brad Friedel.
Canada, Mexico and USA have been selected by the FIFA Congress to host the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
I mean, it's theatre, isn't it? I mean, it's the world's biggest sports tournament. It's in the most powerful nation in the world. It's got the most famous man on the planet that is the president of that country. All of those component parts. It's supersized me. The Americans do style over content a lot of the time. So why wouldn't we expect this to be the case?
So I will count 1, 2, 3, and then I want the Americans only to chant USA, USA, USA until I tell you to stop, okay? Only the Americans, right? So 1, 2, 3, USA!
Can America win the World Cup?
Well, I think so. I think a lot of people feel they have a little bit of a shot. It's pretty stiff competition, but I would say they would have a small chance.
Brad, how are you?
It's lovely to meet you. First, I apologize for the lack of humor from Americans. And Matt, I'm going to apologize for you for everything else that's going on in America.
You don't have to apologise.
I'm a dual passport. I'm a British and a UK and a US. And recently, I've been taking out my British passport when I've been traveling everywhere.
I mean, can I just say, Brad, on the humour front, some of the best humour. Sergeant Bilko is probably my favourite sitcom ever. That's from America. My favourite singer is Elvis Presley. He's from America. I love Starsky and Hutch.
Cheers, Seinfeld, Arrested Development.
Yes,
the
exactly.
American Office.
All that stuff. There's loads of humour.
But I could understand if a stand-up comic was going into America, especially into a small town.
Oh, I see that. Well, that's true.
When you were telling your story, that I could understand the whole room. First of all, what's he saying? Second of all, it's not even funny. But I could understand. I could understand that fully.
So obviously you've alluded to it there, Brad. Do you think what's happening in America politically and with Trump, does it risk overshadowing the World Cup in any way?
I hope not. Like, a World Cup is such a big event. I'm hoping that there's a lot of rhetoric that happens up to it, and then for the 30 or so days, it's just all about the World Cup. That is a hope. I'm about 50-50 on whether that's actually going to happen, but I hope so. You know, the one thing Americans can do or put on, I mean, generally put on really good events.
Yeah.
94 World Cup, even though the World Cup, Americans generally didn't even know soccer back then in 94. Every stadium was full for the games. Now, fast forward to 2026, Americans do know what football is, and they support it, and they have opinions of it. So for the players, it's completely different. When I was walking around town in LA in 94, nobody knew who we were. Nowadays, the players, everyone will know who every one of them are, and they're going to have opinions on their performances. The media is starting to get a little bit more aggressive, which is a good sign, but putting more pressure on the players. So it has grown immensely. So to answer your question, Matt, in a long-winded manner, I hope for 30 days, it's just all about the football.
I mean, he's going to be at the final, isn't he?
Of course he is.
And I want to say, I think it's very sad that Bart, he used to play in goal for America, and now look at him. He's got a British passport. The guy's a total traitor. And he lives in the Bahamas in an all-inclusive, and he sits there getting his free breakfast. And he used to love America, and now he doesn't, and I think it's very sad.
No, it doesn't have anything to do with loving America or not. It's just.
I think he'll want to ref it, won't he? He'll want to ref the final. That would be.
Okay, let's.
He'll be handing over the trophy, won't he? At the very least.
I found the I mean, listen, if he hands over the trophy, it's fine. I got no problem with that. If that happens in most countries, but the whole. Like changing the halftime to 30 minutes because we do it at the Super Bowl. I mean, come on. This is a World Cup. It's a World Cup. It's not America. It's not an American tournament. You're doing it to sell more advertisement. Well, FIFA, that's not what you should do. The whole draw. I mean, I couldn't even watch the end of it. I had to turn it off and just wait for the brackets to come up. I mean, it's like why? I mean, it's really not that hard. Put your hand in a jar and pick out a name and put it up on the screen. But anyways, what's
happening about the fans thing? I don't know whether that's been resolved yet, but I heard this thing, this rumor that they were going to stop certain fans coming. That would be terrible.
Well, I mean, there's a lot going on. As I don't know how much news that you follow. There's a lot going on with the immigration policies. Well, I'm talking over in the States and on the immigration policies. There's a lot of countries that are said it's going to be very difficult to get visas. I have no idea if that's true or not. I'm assuming that because of the relationship Donald Trump has with or the government has with FIFA, that they'll do something to make sure that the fans are in the stadium. So I don't know. That could also. There's a lot of rhetoric from both sides of the table that want to make the other look bad. That's why I'm sort of embarrassed to be talking about American politics because it's not just one side; it's both sides.
I apologize for Matt asking you a question about politics.
I was just trying to crowbar in a Trump impression.
We could have kept it on football.
This is just going to be a whole podcast of apologizing.
But what people do want, people love America, and what they love about it is it's friendly, it's welcoming, and also it's showbiz, it's glamour. I mean, it feels USA 94 was glamorous and it was exciting, even though we weren't there. I mean, this has the potential to be the most glamorous, exciting and best hosted World Cup of all time.
And the longest as well. It's going to be the biggest ever World Cup from the point of view of it's more games than ever before.
Yeah, and I really like the fact that at the beginning that Mexico and Canada were involved because it's all throughout North America. Mexico is a huge footballing nation. What Canada's done recently, they have a really good squad. Jesse Marsh is the head coach there, and they have some really good players. So if you get everyone together, it should be the best World Cup ever. I mean, it really should. From the stadiums to the training facilities, the hotels, the restaurants, the venues, the sightseeing. It should be magnificent. And I'm still hopeful it will be. Competition will be diluted a little bit as you see with the draw because of adding the other teams. But once the knockout phases start, then you're still the best have to beat the best to win it.
Also, there are things about watching sport in America that are better, like You've got more space. They bring hot dogs to your seat, like 2 litres of Pepsi. Like, there are parts of it that are fantastic.
Other fizzy drinks are available,
You like sitting there in your seat and having a 2 litre of Pepsi.
Yeah. Just as much food as I can physically get in me. Watching a load of athletes while I eat a foot-long hot dog and talk about how rubbish they are.
You are American.
I am. I think in some way, I mean, I love like the British approach of just 2 45s, no cheerleaders, no fanfare. We play the game, we go home, we watch it in awful conditions. But when you go to America and you watch ice hockey or basketball or baseball, the whole experience of the day, which I think in Britain we are getting a bit, the Spurs stadium feels quite an American stadium, and Wembley does. I think we've cottoned on to a bit of customer service, maybe, is what I'm trying to say.
I think in the middle is the best. In the middle is the best. If you can't have I just don't know, changing the rules and doing a 30-minute halftime show. Like a player goes in at halftime. 30 minutes is a long time. How are you going to keep your body warm and your mind going? Like, it's going to be something that does for the first time. The other thing with the World Cup, and it could be a great show, is the issue is the final in New York. All along the Eastern Seaboard, the weather is a disaster in the summer. Yeah. And you don't know, the thunderstorms, lightning, and things of that nature. In '94, they did the final on the West Coast at the Rose Bowl. The weather's magnificent in California. I think you basically have a final and you assure yourself of good weather. This one could be a bit touch and go.
Have the American people come round to the fact that... Because I know there was a thing about they just couldn't get their heads around something that lasted an hour and a half and could end up 1-0. Have they got?
That's a generation thing. That's changed now.
So that's changed now, is it right?
Yeah. Like I think football now is the third. It's just jumped ahead of baseball into the third spot. Yeah, the third most popular sport over here. And it's just going to be generations. A lot of kids I was born in the '70s. A lot of us played 80s more, 90s more. And now from 2000 on, most of the kids that are born are playing soccer. So it's going to be another generation turn, and then you'll see bigger viewing figures, and all that is changing. But it takes time, of course, because when I grew up in Cleveland, so I didn't even like baseball, and I could tell you every player and stats of the Cleveland Indians they were at the time. American football, I could tell you the starting offense and defense of Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers, Cincinnati Bengals, and Houston Oilers, because they were in our division. Like you were just ingrained with that. Now the kids have devices. They can find out about football all over the world. They can find out international football, and the Premier League does an incredible job of marketing themselves over in the United States. They do between NBC, I think USA, Paramount, and Peacock. Like you can see every Premier League game in the United States. You can't see MLS games unless you have Apple TV. So
yeah, it does. It is always quite revealing when they say something. When Tom Hanks, a famous Aston Villa fan, you think, oh right, okay, the Premier League is getting over there in a proper way.
Yeah, Premier League's still the pinnacle, but then you also have a lot of Mexican households in the United States, and Liga MX is huge. And they have enormous followings, so you get a lot of football watched, and little by little, more and more MLS football is being watched. But it's probably I won't be around by the time it becomes number one. I'm not sure if it can ever be number one because NFL is so far ahead of the popularity stakes. But NFL is only a 4-month season, so there's a lot of other months of the year that soccer can generate interest.
You played for Villa, Brad. Did you ever meet Tom Hanks?
No, I don't think he was a Villa supporter when I was there.
Did you ever meet Prince William?
No, but I've met the Queen and the now King. This was back with the national team. Prince William,
Brad.
Is that what she said?
You played very well, Brad.
Well, you came down and met us in the changing room.
You there in the gloves. What do you do?
They've got so many people around them. You don't even get to, you know what it's like. You just shake hands and off you go.
I'm very jealous. Love the Queen.
You do the photo. I'm fairly certain Prince William was at a game or two when I was there, but I never went up and met him. I was too old by then. I was in the ice bath after the game, trying to make my way to my car.
Can I just quickly ask? You may already cover this in other episodes, but what's the American team like this year? I mean, how far are they going to get?
Well, Mauricio Pochettino's the head coach,
that's
and
right,
he caused some waves here when he first took over because he changed the mentality, which you'd expect him to. He's one of the best managers out there. He's gotten the last 5 or 6 results have been excellent. The team will be competitive. You know, we have a very, very good left back, Anthony Robinson, who plays at Fulham. Chris Richards, a center back who plays at Crystal Palace. Serginho Dest on the right. I think Tim Ream, who used to play at Fulham, and Bolton. I think he'll be one of the other center backs. But then we have Christian Pulisic up front, Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams. Tyler's at Bournemouth. Like we have a very competitive squad.
It's not that long ago you got to the quarterfinals. I remember at that point thinking, in my lifetime, I can see the USA getting to a final.
We made the quarterfinals. We lost to Germany 1-0, and that was when Hugh Dallas, Scottish referee, and Torsten Frings had the handball. If there was VAR, we would have had a penalty. Torsten Frings would have been sent off, and you never know what happens from them. But we were the better team on that day, so we could have made the semifinals in that tournament. So we have competitive players. It's just to win a World Cup. There's only 8 nations have done it. You got to have something spectacular to be able to do it. I'm not so sure we have spectacular, but we definitely have competitive.
If the unthinkable happens and you don't get out of the group, how do you think Donald Trump will react?
I'm sure you'll tell us, Matt.
I'm not sure he'll know until the final.
I thought you were going to say if the unthinkable happens and America wins it. That used to be one of the sort of nightmare scenarios, because what would happen if America wins it, there's a possibility that rather than sending the sport into the stratosphere, it might make you all then go off it. You might go, well, we've done soccer, we've done that, completed that, now we can go back to the real stuff.
No way. If we won the World Cup, that would set up football in America for the next 20 to 30 years. I think all the sponsors, television, everything would start to come.
It'd be lovely it would be lovely if a country won it who'd never won it before, wouldn't it? If it wasn't going to be us. Yeah.
It would be. It's just so hard.
No, I mean, yeah.
It really is. And I have England, depending on they have a couple of tough weather fixtures. I know you said it jokingly a little bit, or maybe you weren't joking on the weather. They have a couple of obstacles they have to overcome, and I believe they could have a quarterfinal. Maybe it's not the quarterfinal, but a match against Mexico and Mexico City. And the altitude is no joke, and the heat is no joke, and the smog is no joke. So it's like you could have, you could be the better team and just have all these obstacles in your way.
So well, it's like when Argentina played Bolivia at home in Bolivia and lost 5-0 or something. You just
in La Paz, that's a ridiculous place to play.
But if you're going to play in smog, you just train in central London for a fortnight, and then your lungs have acclimatised.
No, we played there once. You remember Kobe Jones? He was a winger, played a little bit of right. So at halftime, he had a little bit of asthma, nothing crazy. But at halftime, he had to go the oxygen mask, and he was coughing up like this black like soot. Like it's Mexico City is a different level of smog.
Wow.
I don't want to make this all about Trump, but in his defence at the World Cup draw, he did say that thing about when you think about it, we should call it football. We call it soccer, but it is football. When you think about it, we should be calling it football. I think a lot of football fans around the globe would have agreed with him at that point.
Okay, there's one logical statement.
Do you think we'll ever get to a point, Brad, where in America it's called football?
No.
Okay, next question. Thinking of USA 94...
I don't. NFL football is too strong.
Too big a deal. Thinking of USA 94 then, I mean, obviously that was a huge step forward for America's relationship with the sport. After that, is it fair to say that David Beckham coming over is probably the second biggest thing?
Yeah, he helped bring some star power, star quality, notoriety to the league for sure. I think there's a couple of things. 94 World Cup, and then David Beckham was another one, but there was a meeting. The league almost folded, and the Crafts, I know the owners of New England were one of the families. The Hunts were another one of the families in Anschutz. Hunts owned Dallas, and Anschutz owns LA Galaxy. They basically saved the league, and they had co-ownership in a lot of the teams, and they saved it because and this was probably around 2000, somewhere between 2001 and 2003, and the league was going away. That was even after a quarterfinal finish with the national team, and they saved it and they propped it up. Then Beckham, Messi is another milestone, of course, coming over. Now this World Cup, and I hope, I have my fingers crossed for it. I hope the next milestone is that a very lucrative television contract for the league will come on the back of more viewership after this World Cup. So that's what the league needs. They don't have a television agreement like the Premier League does. There's they don't cover the salary caps. They don't cover the designated players. The Premier League's a machine. It's a monster, and every single team can run. You can even do 60 or 70% of your turnover, and you can have a great squad. Over in MLS, it's not like that. You have a lot of very wealthy owners that keep diving into their pockets, thankfully, to keep it alive. But we got to get that media rights deal. So I hope that's the next big changing point is a very large, lucrative television deal.
So it's fascinating you talk about the Premier. I sort of go to New York every few years on holiday, and I think 15 years ago when we went for the first time, no one was really bothered about Premier League football at all. And trying to catch a game in a New York sports bar, you had to kind of make a bit of an effort. Each time I go back, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And the last time I went, there was a mural of Mo Salah in Times Square, and there was a sports bar just near the Empire State Building, and I was walking past, and they were playing the British commentary into the street. So I went in, and he said, we do that because then people know we show Premier League football. And there was a guy at the bar, and he went, I agree with Danny Murphy. And I was like, what sort of parallel universe have I walked into? People were going, I don't like Lee Dixon. He doesn't talk sense. So I was like, what? How do you know who Danny Murphy and Lee Dixon are? And the world had changed. And they all knew Shearer and Rooney, and it was just like, everyone's phones, they had like Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal. Yeah. It was massive. And I think Lampard was at New York City there at the time, and maybe that helps a little bit in New York, but people are mad for it over there.
But Americans like the best, and they see the Premier League as the best. So even though they might have their MLS team that they support, they want to watch the Premier League because that's where they feel the best. They'll watch, of course, Real Madrid and Barcelona, but they wouldn't watch La Liga because they don't think La Liga is the best league. They'll watch the Premier League. And the Premier League has done a brilliant job of marketing in the United States and selling their product in the United States. And I don't know the numbers off the top of my head on what the U.S. TV rights are for the Premier League, but my suggestion is that they're more expensive for the Premier League than they are for MLS. So we gotta start turning that over in the U.S. for people to want to watch NYCFC against Columbus. That they have to want to watch that because right now they want to watch Liverpool against Man United. They won't want to watch it. And actually, they'll probably would rather watch Bournemouth against Crystal Palace than a local MLS game.
How well attended do you think the games are going to be, Brad? Particularly group stage games. Do you think the stadiums will be full?
I did. Let's see how the immigration policies pan out. But I would think most all of them in the United States would be full. I would think in Toronto they would be full. In Mexico, when Mexico plays, it'll be full for sure. If there's a neutral game in Mexico, I'm not so sure. So we'll have to see. But there'll be very, very good crowds.
Can I ask a question
throughout the tournament?
Can I ask a question about Canada? Because I remember, I think it was the last World Cup. They were a real surprise. I mean,
4 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they were one of those, a bit like sort of Morocco. It was one of those teams you think, blimey, they're good.
They're excellent.
Are they still great? Are they just on the up?
Yeah. Alphonso Davies, one of the global elite players. Tejan Buchanan, excellent player. Jonathan David, incredible player. Yeah, they on their day, if they're fully fit and the US is fully fit, it's a 50-50 flip of a coin who wins. Yeah, they're very competitive, very good.
And after America, I mean, because of the Premier League, is there a kind of affinity with England? Do you think American fans will be trying to get tickets to the England games? Will be sort of their second team? Or is that pushing it?
And that's pushing it.
Third
it depends
team,
on where.
Third team?
Fourth team, fifth team. No, if you go up into the Northeast, probably. if you just look at, but if you go down into Florida, you go into California, you go into Texas, it's not full of British. It's, there'll be more Colombian supporters, Brazilian supporters, Mexican supporters, people like that. So I think the further north you go, so in the colder weather, the more rain, the more clouds, the more everything you get, you'll find the British supporters there.
And how do you think England are going to do? I mean, obviously, Tim and I are England mad. We always want them to win. We're emotionally unstable men. We always believe that this tournament's going to be ours.
Yeah.
Are we a serious contender for this World Cup?
Yes, I have you as one of the four that can win it. Yes.
Really?
Who are the other three?
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I think France can always win it. I think Brazil can always win it. I think Argentina can always win it, and England I put in, and then my outlier because of the conditions is for a surprise package could be Colombia.
Yeah,
they're a very, very good team, and the weather won't faze them at all.
No.
So just think of England then. Let's say it's England-Brazil in a semi, or let's say we get to a final. What do you think it is that's held England back in the past? And do you think we've overcome whatever that is?
And would you agree with me, Brad, that it's basically two things: heat and self-belief at the crucial moments?
Yeah, I mean, the heat is important in the weather conditions, but the self-belief is an interesting one because over the years, I played with a lot of the England players and against all of them. Great players, like why they haven't won on penalties is beyond me, really, because it's not and that's not a science. That's not. I don't think somebody is weak in the head if they miss a penalty.
But do you think, Brad, we need to be more
good.
American?
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to say yes.
That's all we've got time for.
But we need to have just more that confidence, self-belief that the Americans have. They can visualise winning.
Ego.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the English players, they have swagger, they have ego, they have confidence. They don't. It's not like they play in games and they're second best. They're usually the best.
Until those moments, though, those key moments.
Right. So they miss a penalty or a mistake on a goal, but they're usually the better team from start to finish in the games.
Brad, before we let you go,
I have them as one of my favorites.
This has been a treat as always, Brad. Before we let you go, have you ever heard of an American celebrity called Tonka the chimp?
I have not, but I was listening, and I'm gonna have to Google. I'm devastated you only got a pilot with him, but I'm glad that
Me too. I didn't know he was a star.
But I'm glad you never looked him in the eyes. We might not be sitting here today if you had.
No, exactly.
Ripped your arms off.
Half my face ripped off.
Brad, it's always such a treat. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Cheers, Brad.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Tim.
OK, well, Tim, we've got some intel on Tonka.
Yes.
He's still alive.
Really?
He's 34. How long ago was the pilot?
1998.
Yes, that was 32. So he'd been about 2 when you were working with him.
Oh, right.
Is that right? My arithmetic's terrible.
OK.
He lives in Florida at a place called Save the Chimps.
Right.
And he's had some hard times in the past, but now spends his time soaking up the sunshine, playing with his family and painting.
Right. But how come? Has he got his own... How do you know this? Has he got his own channel or something?
The internet. Someone's Googled it, written it down. I'm now reading out what
something that was... Yeah, OK. Yeah. Well, I'm going to look up. He probably won't remember me, but I certainly remember him. So I'll
have you got a message for Tonka that we can...
Yeah, if you're watching Tonka... sorry, I need to not look straight at you. If you're watching Tonka... it's been really nice to... I hope you're well.
He had his own... he was star of a series on HBO called Chimp Crazy.
Right, OK.
So you obviously started his career. You gave him his big break.
Maybe I did, yeah. Maybe they thought we should involve chimps in things. The problem they had when I did Beat the Chimp with him was that they decided that they wanted the chimp to be in it all the way through, whereas I said, no, he's got to be the same as every other contestant, so it's possible to eliminate him in the first round, but they didn't want that. I said, no, you want to be able to... Because the possibility was that the chimp would win the car at the end.
But then, obviously, That means she can't beat the chimp. The system was rigged in favour of the chimp.
Exactly, yeah. But I love the idea that he would get into the car at the end and then drive it into a wall.
Well, he's not going to do that. He's now living safely at Save the Chimps in Florida.
Excellent.
Tim, thank you. Huge thanks to Tim. Huge thanks to Brad Friedel. And, of course, a huge thanks to Tonka, the celebrity chimp. As always, make sure you go and check out all our previous episodes if you haven't done already. And do get in touch with us, either through Instagram at How to Win the World Cup, or drop us an email. It's wintheworldcup@talksport.co.uk. We'd love to hear from you. Until then, we'll see you next time.